Hello everyone, you're welcome back to this tutorial. In today's tutorial, we are going to be talking about differences between water-based ink and Plastisol ink. These are the two fabric inks that we use in screen printing. So if this looks like what you would like to learn, I would like you to relax and make sure you watch this video to the end, because at the end of it, I'm going to be telling you the advantage and disadvantages of working with both ink and tell you my own preferred ink and why I prefer that particular one. Thank you so much. If you are new on this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and also on notification bell. And to returning subscribers, do not forget to like, share and comment. Thank you. Water-based ink, as name implies, is made with water, while Plastisol is from plastic. So that is giving you an holistic idea of what two ink are made of. It's actually good to understand the constituents or the content of what you are working with. So having the idea that water-based ink is of water, you already know that water dries up easily, and having the idea that Plastisol is from plastic, you already know that that's the reason why we have to apply it before we can dry or cure our Plastisol ink. Now, Plastisol ink and water-based ink actually differ in several ways. They are different in several ways. They have different characteristics, they have their advantages and they have their disadvantages. And I'm going to be taking this one after the other to talk about it. But they are different in different ways, talking about the viscosity of the ink, that's how thick or thin the ink is, how glossy it is, how much pressure you can exert on it, how versatile it is, how durable it is, and also the brightness, the end result, and so on and so forth, how eco-friendly it is. These are the things I'm going to be talking about. So please, and it's because I'm doing this video because I've gotten several questions on this. A lot of people have raised issues on their plight when they use water-based ink, especially my online students. Oh yes, they have issues on water-based ink. They have expressed their plight on it, and I've heard from people from YouTube channel as well that they have no issue using a particular ink. So please stay tuned and let's talk about this. And if you have other questions you want to ask, do not hesitate to drop it at the comment section. So the first thing I'll be talking about here is the texture. When you check the Plastisol ink and the water-based ink, the Plastisol ink is thicker and rigid compared to the water-based, and that is the reason why when you are printing with Plastisol, you exert more pressure on it so that you can get a good result. So when you drag your squeegee on your mesh, you must exert the pressure so much that you will see the lettering on the mesh. But in the case of water-based is very light. You don't have to put in so much pressure before you could screen print with it. So a little pressure, you're already seeing the lettering on the mesh. The second one is that water-based ink is more eco-friendly than Plastisol ink. Of course, you know that it doesn't contain as much chemicals as Plastisol contains. So working with water-based ink means you're not exposing yourself to too much of chemicals compared to working with Plastisol ink. The third one is the application. Plastisol ink are used mainly and majorly on finished goods, finished products like your hoodie, your tote bag, your t-shirt. Why your water-based ink are used on finished products as well, but you can still use it on yards, as in yardage. Like you have roll of uniforms. You know, so most schools, they print on their uniform from the company. They are bundles of uniform, then we screen print on it. And because they are working with large quantity of material, you can't be printing and at the same time be eating it up. So we have to work with water-based. So water-based ink most times work with yardage of material, while Plastisol mostly works with finished product. But mind you, you can still use water-based also for finished product. Another thing is that water-based is mainly good and suitable for light fabric. The reason is because it easily absorbs into the material. So when you use light fabric can easily absorb, as in light material now, can easily absorb the water-based ink, unlike Plastisol. Also, water-based ink is more suitable for light colored material. The reason being that because of its breathability, you know, it's easy for it to be absorbed by the material, like I said. So if you use darker material, the color of the material will absorb the ink so much that eventually you might not be seeing your printing, but you'll be seeing the color of the material. What I'm trying to say is this: because water-based ink dries up easily and it's not thick, the material will absorb it, so it is suitable for you to use it for a light color material, so that when it's absorbing it, it will still maintain the color of the ink. But when you use darker color like navy blue, like black, dark color material, and you're applying your ink, by the time it absorbs it, you'll be seeing the color of the fabric more. And that is why whenever we are working with water base, we advise us to always put maybe an A4 paper in between fabric, so that when you are printing it, as it's drying up, it's not actually staining the other side of the fabric. That is one thing about water base. But for Plastisol always stays on the fabric, so it's suitable for any. That's why Plastisol is more versatile than water based. It's suitable on any material, either light material or heavy material, because it's going to layer on the fabric or on the cloth. Until you cure it yourself, it will not dry. So that's the difference between the application and what kind of fabric you can use them for. Water based, because it's light, suitable for light material and light color material, and at the same time it is suitable for yardage material, while Plastisol is suitable for finished products like your t-shirt that are already sewn and others. And also Plastisol is suitable for both light and a dark color material. All right, the next thing is water-based can easily be influenced by the color of the fabric you are printing on. I've explained that in my previous point, in terms that when you apply it on dark color material, it will absorb it and eventually take the color of the fabric. The more reason we use it on light color material. Water-based easily clogs the mesh. But that's now one of the major problems we have with water-based ink. It clogs the mesh. Why does it clog the mesh? Because water dries up. So if you are not working at a very fast pace, and if you are a beginner in this printing, we always advise to not begin with water-based, because there are some things you have to do with the mesh before we print. If care is not taken, it will mess up the whole thing. So water-based actually clogs the mesh easily because it dries up as you are printing. So because of that, it makes printing difficult. Also, it also breaks the emulsion. So in the course of you saying you want to clean it up, the emulsion is already washing off. It's funny, yes. The emulsion is already washing off. Why? Because it's causing more damage. As it's causing damage as it's clogging the mesh, it's breaking off the emulsion. So water-based is actually somehow trickish to work with because of that one characteristics of it. But you see that Plastisol, very, very fine. You want to print 1000 pieces, you are good to go because it doesn't dry up. If you don't apply it on Plastisol, there's no how your Plastisol ink will dry up. Continue printing your work as long as you are not having any other issue. For that clogging, Plastisol does not clog. Water-based clog because of the water that dries up easily. There. Another thing about Plastisol is the curing. Now, after curing, that curing is one thing that is very, very important in Plastisol. If it's not well done, issue. If it's overdone, issue. Now, you must make sure that you cure your Plastisol properly. Yes, properly, for it not to crack. If it's not well cured, it will crack and eventually wash off or peels off after few washing. Now, if you now still want to cure your Plastisol, make sure you don't use too much of it. If you use too much of it also, it can actually destroy the printing. So let's take note of that. The curing aspect of the Plastisol ink is very, very important as well. All right, water-based ink breaks down the screen emulsion. I've talked about it. As it's clogging the mesh, it's breaking down the screen emulsion. You start having something like this line on your emulsion, and eventually you won't be able to continue your printing. Plastisol has more vibrant color after printing. This way you can see, you can compare it when one is being absorbed into the fabric. When you use water-based to print, the fabric absorbs it so much that it becomes like part of the fabric. It enters the fabric. Another one stays on top. Which one will come out brighter and more vibrant? Plastisol, of course. So that is why after printing Plastisol, it looks so like glossy, and at times it looks like this vinyl. That's flex printing. Yes, it feels like flex printing. I feel like I want to peel it off because of the glossy characteristics of it. So it comes out more vibrant, more bright, very bright and shiny end result. That's what we have in Plastisol, unlike water-based ink. Water-based ink, because the fabric absorbs it, so the end result eventually is not as bright as what we have in Plastisol. The fabric would have absorbed it and it becomes like parts of the fabric itself. Now, durability between the Plastisol and water-based, which is more durable? Both of them are durable. Yes, it all depends on what you are doing and it all depends on what you want to do and the purpose of using it. Both of them are durable. If your Plastisol is well cured, forget about it. It will not crack. It will last as long as the fabric lasts. If your water-based is well used to print your clothes, it will, aside from the fact that the cloth will absorb it and becomes part of the cloth, it remains on the cloth as long as the cloth lasts. So both of them are durable. It totally depends on you now to make your choice based on what you are working with. Both of them actually can work with varieties of fabric, aside from the fact that water-based work with yardage, and we don't actually use Plastisol for yardage because you can't be printing and at the same time be eating up. Water-based dries up easily. Both of them can work with I said water-based easily can be used for light fabric, more suitable for light fabric and also light color fabric. But Plastisol covers every form of fabric. Now that I've explained to you the differences, the characteristics, the advantages and disadvantages of these two fabric inks that we use in screen printing, that's the Plastisol ink and the water-based ink, then what is my own preference on this? On this, what I advise my people both on YouTube channel and my private classes is that please, as a beginner, stick to Plastisol. Plastisol can be used for both light material, hard material, light colored material, dark color material. After all, you are not printing uniform yet, so please stick to Plastisol. When you are used to Plastisol, that you can, there are some things you do with screen printing. When you know you have overcome all those hurdles, then we can graduate to using water-based, because there are some underlying things that we'll do to secure our mesh before we use water-based ink to print, so that you'll not be stressed out or you'll not be frustrated in the process of you printing. So water-based is actually tricky to work with, only because of the characteristics of it drying up and clogging the mesh. Because it dries up easily, it clogs the mesh, and also it breaks the emulsion. And once the emulsion is broken, we can no longer use that mesh to continue your printing. So my own take on this is that as a beginner, please stick to Plastisol as your fabric ink, and as time goes on, you can start learning how to play around with water-based ink. Thank you so much. If you have watched this video up to this point, kindly like, share and comment. And please, if you have any question again, don't hesitate to drop it at the comment section. We'll be there to actually attend to them. We'll be glad to walk us through this process of screen printing. It's not actually difficult, and it's something interesting to work with. Thank you. See you in the next tutorial. Bye.